What's up, guys? Tom Davis here, America's Canine Educator. A little different filming scenario here. I don't have enough time to set up my other cameras and my audios and stuff, so we're just going to do it right here on my laptop. I'm going to cut it and put it on YouTube. So this is part of our Instagram questionnaire type series that's going to go onto our YouTube channel at least once a week. And the first question comes from Destiny M. So this whole this crate anxiety thing is created probably because you're using the crate as a negative or a punishment. So when you leave, you put the dog into a crate and they know that you're going to be gone for 6 hours or so, or a long time. So really quick, just start breaking down the crate as a negative thing and make it a positive thing. Do it throughout the day, do it throughout the night that you're home. Using the crate as a positive instead of a negative. So using food while they're into the crate, rewarding them for going into the crate by themselves, leaving the door open more often than not, and creating that safe spot for the dog to go to. The crate should ultimately be just a really, really good place for a dog to go and calm down when things get crazy, if there's loud company over. That should be their safe zone. It shouldn't be anything punishment based. So creating the crate to be more of a positive thing than a negative thing is something you're going to want to do. So putting the dog again in there and making it fun, making it an engagement thing, using food to put the dog into the crate, having the crate command, and not leaving them in there for 4 to 5 hours at a time. So that's the issue. Is what's happening now is when you leave, the dog goes in the crate, which basically conditions the dog. When you go into the crate, I'm gone for 4 to 5 hours or however hours you're gone. So stop using the crate as a punishment tool and use it more as a constructive, this is where you're going to go to relax while I'm gone, no matter the distance. So practice some crate command stuff, throughout the day. So putting the dog into a crate, rewarding, yes, good, and just making it fun, making it engaging, and do it throughout the day. And just that's the problem, is they anticipate going into the crate, and when they do, you're gone for a long time. So they hate the crate. The next big thing I'll point out is the baby that's crying effect. So how long will the baby cry until somebody gives in and says enough and breaks the baby of the crate? Make sure that doesn't happen. If you're going to commit to the crate command and you're going to commit to the crate, then just commit fully. And so don't let anybody go and hush the dog, and don't let anybody go in there and talk baby to the dog where the dog's in the crate, because that's ultimately getting attention as the dog does negative behavior. So the dog cries, whines, and freaks out. You walk in there and tell them to be quiet. You've just rewarded, and they've just conditioned you that if they scream and yell and carry on, then they get attention from you. So make sure that you're not doing any of that. You're just going to have to wait it out. When I first created my puppy, or the multiple puppies that I do have, they do cry for 3 to sometimes, almost 2 weeks, and then they get over it, and then you're good. So stay strong and be a good leader, and continue to be consistent with that crate command. So this next question comes from Kimmie Trump on Instagram. And so Kimmie is dealing with some food issues with her dog, not eating a lot, as you guys just saw. So I would recommend, whenever you move, whenever you bring a new dog in, a new human in, your dog's going to sometimes undergo some sort of transitional stress, which means the dog is going to become a bit stressful because it's a big change in their life and their routine. So what I would do is make your dog as comfortable as possible in this situation. It's one of those things that your dog used to eat 4 cups a day, and now they're eating half of that. But you've moved, and you have a roommate and all these things, so things are different. So make the dog comfortable. I would suggest moving your dog to eat into a crate away from the other dog to make them more comfortable. So moving the food and the feeding times into the crate will create more of a structured and organized and safer place for your dog to enjoy their food, and just understand that they're undergoing a bit of transitional stress, which is caused by the move. So just understand that, and it might get a lot better. So I would honestly just find a safer place for your dog to eat comfortably, and that should get rid of the issue. And if it doesn't, let me know. Good question. So the next question comes in from Ariel on Instagram. So Ariel, you're dealing with some possession aggression and or food aggression. And so that's something very common in dogs. I find it most common in dogs that are unstructured or just kind of trying to be brats and get away with stuff. So it's important for you to understand this, that if, let's put it this way, if you have siblings or you know somebody who has siblings, which I know you do. I had brothers and sisters growing up and I still have them. And let's put it this way. If your brother or sister were to do something you really, really didn't like, and you were then to turn around and get really, really upset, and if mom and dad were around, you weren't going to do anything because you know that you're going to get in trouble and you respect them being around, and you're not going to get in a fight with your brother or sister during that time because the presence of a leader or your parents are around. It's much similar with dogs. Same thing with our daycare. You can see our dogs in daycare wanting to do something, mount a dog or try to get away with something. And if you're around, they won't, because they respect you and they know that they could possibly get in trouble for what they're about to do. So if you're having troubles with you being present and your dog's completely ignoring you or shutting you down, it's probably because your foundational obedience and relationship with them is not where it needs to be. So my best suggestion to you, Ariel, is to start working them separately on obedience, getting your obedience down and not being sloppy about it. And it doesn't have to be high, crazy performance obedience. It just has to be something. So get yourself a slip collar, get yourself a slip lead and a nice training leash, and go out and work with your dogs separately. Sit, stay, make sure they understand the difference between heel and all of these things. Just literally do some basic stuff and say sit, stay. And when you come down to feeding, you'll start transitioning this in. And again, this goes back to our last question. Our second question on this series, on this video, is putting them in crates, feeding them right next to each other. That will eliminate a lot of aggression as well. So what I would do is honestly work on a leave it command and a stay command. And what you'll do with that is you'll transitionally put some food down on the ground. Your dog's going to lunge for it. You're going to start giving the dog pressure or a little pop on the slip lead. You're going to say leave it. And basically, the only difference between when do you want them to have it and when you want them to leave it is when they've made the decision to commit to you fully and respect your leave it command and not actually lunge for the high reward food. So you're going to take a piece of food out, you're going to put it on there on a bowl or something like that, and you're going to walk around that item. The dog's going to lunge, you're going to say leave it. The moment you can walk around that food without your dog lunging for it is then when you're going to break the dog and release command. So you're okay or have it or whatever you want. That's going to be your release command for the dog to actually have what they want. So that will start working on your impulse control, which ultimately will set you up for success when you're down the road. When you have food out, you have food present, your dogs aren't going to lose their mind and try to go after each other to get it, much like just in a feral pack. You gotta step up and you gotta say no. You're gonna sit, you're gonna stay, you're gonna sit, and you're gonna stay, and here's food, and you both can't have it unless I say. And that will start kind of packing them down and letting them know that they don't have to go after each other in order to see who's going to get the food, because that's probably what's happening. They're fighting each other to see who wins to get the food. Ultimately, that should never happen within a pack. You should be the one that's telling them, hey, you have this and you have this, and there's nothing in between, because you make the rules. So long story short, do some foundational work with them separately and then start bringing them together, maybe with a friend or a family member, and using a place command on something elevated to keep them targeted on a stay, and really, really working on that impulse control to calm them down when food is present. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so very much for following along. I hope that you guys get something out of this. If you have any questions, direct message me on Instagram. I'll put the link below. And subscribe and share this with as many people as you can, because these are 3 really good questions that I'm sure a lot of people are having difficulty with at home. So again, I appreciate your guys' support so very much, and I will see you later. Peace.